On Thursday, a surprising and tense exchange occurred during a hastily arranged cabinet meeting at the White House, when tech mogul Elon Musk, who was invited as a guest, found himself in a heated confrontation with high-ranking officials, particularly with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. According to multiple sources with direct knowledge of the meeting, the confrontation centered around the management style and performance of Rubio at the helm of the State Department. While the majority of the cabinet members were present at the meeting, most chose to remain silent observers as the dispute unfolded. The primary exchange took place between Musk and Rubio, with Musk accusing the Secretary of State of failing to take any significant action in addressing the inefficiencies within the department he oversees. According to Musk, Rubio's approach had not yielded the necessary results, particularly in terms of personnel changes within the department. Musk specifically took issue with Rubio's refusal to take a more aggressive stance on making changes at the department's leadership level. Musk's criticism focused heavily on Rubio's failure to fire individuals in key positions, a claim Musk characterized as a lack of leadership and accountability. Musk, who has been known for his outspoken nature and his high standards for leadership and organizational performance in his own companies, was vocal in his disappointment with what he perceived as Rubio's hesitation to make tough decisions. Rubio, on the other hand, was quick to defend himself and his actions. The Secretary of State, according to sources who spoke with ABC News, strongly rejected Musk's accusations. Rubio explained that far from avoiding tough decisions, his department had successfully managed to negotiate voluntary buyouts for over 1,000 employees. This, according to Rubio, was a strategic decision that helped to streamline the department, while also ensuring that staff members had the opportunity to leave with dignity, rather than through the more harsh route of firings. Despite the heated exchange, Rubio appeared confident in his actions, defending his management of the department and asserting that the voluntary buyouts were a sign of effective leadership, rather than a failure to take action. The tension between the two men, however, was palpable and dominated much of the meeting's discussion. Rubio's supporters inside the department later echoed his stance, calling Musk's remarks an unfair attack on the Secretary's efforts to navigate the complexities of the State Department's workforce. The exchange between Musk and Rubio did not go unnoticed by the other attendees, including President Donald Trump. Observing the unfolding spat, Trump, who has long been a supporter of both Musk and Rubio, took a moment to intervene. According to sources who were present at the meeting, Trump interjected during the heated back and forth, offering a brief word of encouragement to Rubio. The president, who had been silent for most of the confrontation, reportedly told Rubio that he was doing a fantastic job at the State Department. Trump's intervention seemed to diffuse some of the tension, although the atmosphere remained charged for the remainder of the meeting. While Trump's remarks appeared to be an attempt to offer his support for Rubio, it was clear that the underlying friction between the two powerful men had not been fully resolved. Later, during a separate event at the Oval Office on Friday, President Trump was asked about the reported clash between Musk and Rubio. In typical Trump fashion, the president dismissed the reports, denying that there was any significant conflict between the two men. "There is no clash," Trump said, adding that Rubio and Musk get along fantastically well. Trump went on to praise both individuals, saying they were both doing a fantastic job. Despite Trump's attempts to downplay the situation, the reported clash between Musk and Rubio raised significant questions about the dynamics of the current administration's leadership. Musk, known for his disruptive approach to business and management, has frequently clashed with traditional political figures, and this exchange with Rubio only added to the growing narrative of tension between the business world and the political establishment. Rubio's leadership style at the State Department, which has often been characterized by pragmatism and caution, was clearly a point of contention for Musk. Musk, who has never been one to shy away from criticism, seemed frustrated by what he perceived as Rubio's reluctance to make bold decisions. For Musk, who has reshaped entire industries with his bold, sometimes controversial choices, Rubio's more measured approach to leadership seemed out of step with the fast-paced world Musk operates in. Rubio has often defended his methodical approach to governance. The Secretary of State, who has been in his current role since being appointed by President Trump, has often emphasized the importance of stability and diplomacy in managing the U.S. State Department, while his critics have sometimes described him as overly cautious. Rubio himself has defended the need for careful decision-making in a complex and ever-changing international landscape. The disagreement between Musk and Rubio also highlights broader tensions within the Trump administration. While Trump himself has generally praised both Musk and Rubio in public, the reality of their working relationship seems more complicated. Musk's tendency to challenge established norms and his willingness to speak out on controversial issues sometimes puts him at odds with traditional politicians like Rubio, who tend to operate within more established boundaries. The clash between Musk and Rubio comes at a time of heightened scrutiny of the Trump administration's handling of key foreign policy issues, including the U.S. relationship with China, the ongoing trade war, and the country's stance on various global conflicts. Rubio, who has long been a vocal advocate for a tough stance on China and other adversaries, has faced criticism from some quarters for his handling of diplomatic relations. Meanwhile, Musk, whose business interests span the globe, has been increasingly vocal about his own views on international policy, particularly in relation to China and technology development. While Thursday's cabinet meeting was focused on internal administrative matters, the tensions between Musk and Rubio underscored the larger political and ideological divide that exists within the current administration. As the Trump administration continues to grapple with a range of domestic and international challenges, it is clear that the clash between Musk and Rubio is just one example of the ongoing struggle between different factions of the president's inner circle. Despite the public denials from President Trump, the events of Thursday's meeting are likely to fuel further speculation about the state of the administration and the relationships between its key members. While Trump may have sought to downplay the significance of the confrontation, the reality is that the clash between Musk and Rubio reflects deeper divisions that could have lasting implications for the future direction of U.S. foreign policy and governance. As the administration moves forward, it will be important to watch for any further developments in the relationship between Musk and Rubio, as well as the broader dynamics within the cabinet. Given Musk's influence and his penchant for controversy, it is unlikely that this will be the last time he finds himself in a public confrontation with members of the Trump administration. Similarly, Rubio's leadership at the State Department will continue to be scrutinized, particularly in light of recent tensions with one of the most powerful and high-profile figures in American business. In the coming days and weeks, we may see more fallout from this latest clash, as the publics and the media continue to speculate on what it means for the future of U.S. governance and diplomacy. Whether this confrontation marks a temporary blip in the relationship between Musk and Rubio, or whether it signals a deeper divide within the Trump administration, remains to be seen. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear. The clash between Musk and Rubio, while seemingly an internal matter, is part of a larger narrative that is shaping the direction of American politics, business, and foreign policy. With so much at stake, the coming days may bring more revelations and insights into the inner workings of one of the most controversial and unpredictable administrations in modern U.S. history and implications for U.S. foreign policy. This clash between Musk and Rubio is not just about two men with conflicting views on leadership and management. It represents a much broader and deeper tension that is playing out in the American political landscape. Musk, a visionary entrepreneur, has built his fortune by challenging the status quo and embracing disruption. Rubio, on the other hand, comes from a more traditional political background, one focused on diplomacy, gradual reform, and measured action. The two men are emblematic of larger trends within the US government, where business-minded leaders, like Musk, are increasingly rubbing shoulders with career politicians like Rubio. As the US government navigates an increasingly complex global landscape, the clash between these two figures highlights the struggle between the old guard of traditional political diplomacy and the new wave of business-driven innovation. For Rubio, the pressure to perform at the State Department is immense. His role as Secretary of State places him at the forefront of US foreign policy, and his decisions have far-reaching consequences for global relations. While Musk's criticism may have been personal, it also underscores the growing impatience among some in the business world with the slow-moving pace of government institutions. For Musk, the encounter with Rubio may represent yet another step in his ongoing efforts to challenge and reshape the systems around him. Musk has always been a figure who believes in moving quickly and decisively, often at odds with the more cautious and deliberative processes of government. As his influence continues to grow, his clashes with political figures like Rubio may become more frequent, creating new challenges for the administration. Ultimately, this clash is likely to have significant implications for the future of US foreign policy. The question remains whether figures like Musk will continue to exert pressure on traditional diplomats like Rubio, or whether the established political processes will prevail. As both men continue to play prominent roles on the national stage, their rivalry could shape the trajectory of American governance for years to come.